I'd like to thank you on behalf of Team A. We took on the theme this year of marketplace opportunities. We believe that we have found in this project, which is titled Predicting Sales Opportunities via Market Indicators, we believe we found a solution to creating marketplace opportunities for Ritchie Brothers. So just some fun pictures for you to enjoy. So more about our project. We chose the name Orion for our project because Orion is the hunter. As the stories go, he was considered to be one of the greatest hunters. And we believe that this parallels very well with the idea and the theme of a marketplace opportunity, the creation of new marketplace opportunities. In addition to the theme of marketplace opportunities, Robbie also challenged us to move sales teams from deal makers to market makers. And we believe this project also does that. We'll get into more details. I'll start by laying the foundation now. Predictive analytics is very much the foundation of what we have done here with Project Orion. Predictive analytics is used, or the use of data, statistical algorithms, and machine learning techniques to identify the likelihood of a number of things. In this particular project, we're going to be identifying the likelihood of sales potential based on a number of publicly available company data points. So more on those data points. I'm going to have Haven take us through the different data points.
One of the key elements to our product is the collection of market indicators that we use within our machine learning model. In order to comprehensively and reliably predict sales opportunities, an abundant and viable assortment of data is required. This data is required for the purpose of creating a sample set for the machine learning software, and with this sample set and the statistics derived thereof, we can make market predictions by providing the software with parallel data for any given business. Some examples of this data would be unpaid tax information, building foreclosures, missed revenue targets, and others as defined in the slide. The 4 data points that we chose to implement into the demo are credit rating, Altman Z-score, stock data, and layoff information. To begin, the first data point is the business's credit rating, which is a numerical value assigned to the business based on its debt repayment, enterprise value, and debt to earnings ratio. Depending on these variables, the business receives a rating, and this rating is passed along with the other data to the predictive software. The second data point we used in this demo is the Altman Z-score. This is a publicly trusted financial score with the purpose of predicting a company's likelihood to go bankrupt within the next 2 years. It uses profitability, leverage, liquidity, solvency, and activity to achieve the score. Our third data point is stock data. For this data point, we acquire the stock data of the company for the last 24 months and calculate a trend line determining the trend of the business's stock value. Finally, we use public documentation to find information about layoffs for the given business. In the end, after all of our data is supplied to the predictive software, the software compares what it has learned from the sample set and returns a percentage score.
So based on the market indicators, as Haven's referenced, wanted to go into more detail about where specifically those resources were pulled from. And the financial data was pulled from an API that has a great deal of the information we used for this project. It's called Intrinio. The secondary piece of data and resource referenced here is WARN notice data. That's basically state websites offering information on any layoffs that are occurring over a certain threshold. So we've used multiple websites for that. And then the last one is Dun & Bradstreet for credit information. All right, I'm going to have Nathaniel take us through the technical specifications via the schematic for Orion.
On the far right, we have the Orion interface. This is a tool that our hunters will use to track their leads and hone their hunting strategy. It is built on the React front-end framework, which is both responsive and flexible to the task. Behind the scenes, we have 3 applications that support the Orion interface. At the top, there's the Machine Learning API, which fetches data metrics from various web resources to feed the machine learning system with. The R language-based machine learning system uses these data metrics to produce or update an existing Orion hunting model. This is the model used to determine potential leads and lead updates for the hunters. On the bottom, we have the data fetching API, which facilitates requests from the Orion interface to the machine learning system and back again. This is used to feed the Orion interface with both aggregated and targeted data feeds based on request context. Both of the APIs are Node.js applications, and together with the machine learning system, they supply the Orion interface with the data that our hunters need.
Hi, I'm Kurt Gratz, and I'm going to tell you how we used machine learning in Project Orion to predict the financial soundness of companies to create leads well before they came to the market naturally. With any machine learning, first thing that you need to do is get a training set created in order to use and train your models. So our training set was pulled from a wide variety of companies, both good, bad, and okay companies, in order to best train our algorithms to be able to predict. So you can see our data set has whether or not we thought the company was financially solvent. That's our bankrupt column. They're going bankrupt. Then we have the Altman Z-score, whether a warrant is issued, that's layoffs, stock trends, target revenues, and credit ratings. And that's the data that we're going to compare to figure out if we can tease out a way to predict financial solvency of a company. So let's go ahead and fit our data set. You can see it's a 311 observations with 7 variables. And let's take a look at it. We'll look at just a few of these for the sake of time. The first one we're going to look at is the Warren issue and see if that's a good predictor of bankruptcy. So if we take a look at that plot, we can see it's an okay predictor, but it's not really great. So let's try the Altman Z-score. Now that looks like a very good predictor of whether or not a company is financially sound. You can see we did that for a number of different items, trying to tease out the best things to use in order to predict financial solvency. After we did that, we then trained some random forest algorithms to decide how well we could predict our financial soundness rating that we're coming up with. So our first random forest that we created was just using the Z-score and the Warren, and it gave us only an 18% error rate, so that one was pretty good. Then we've trained one that did all of the data in our data set, and that was an 18.65, so not quite as accurate as the first one. And then we did a third one, and that one was only 37% accurate, so that wasn't very accurate at all. So then we decided to try it with a neural network. So we set up some data for our neural network. If we create our neural network and we plot it, you can see we've got a nice neural network working. So now we can run a prediction on it, kind of see how accurate it is. It's fairly accurate. So after that, we combined all of those predictions from our various algorithms that we created together, weighted them based on their accuracy to come up with a final score that we're using to determine the financial soundness of a company in order to drive leads to RBA.
So let's do a demo and see Orion, the hunter, at work. All right, so here we are at the Orion login, and we can go ahead and click on the login button here. And then we're brought into the profiler. This is where your territory manager, other salespeople are going to be able to do predictive sales lead generation. So first step here in the Orion tool, you're going to choose your territory. In this case, we're going to choose California and click Find Leads. It goes out and works against the data that has been prepared, all the machine learning that's gone on. And what we're seeing here is 3 companies brought back. Now, this is currently public companies, but with a number of factors can easily be taken to a private company level as well. But what this is telling us, it's giving us an aggregate score of 87% for GoPro. GoPro in this case is showing some signs with a high score like that there is a potential for financial trouble, potential future sale opportunities of either infrastructure or logistical equipment, things like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at GoPro more directly. Okay, so we go into the GoPro detailed view specifically. We're again seeing that is 87% indicated for GoPro. We're seeing their stock ticker symbol. And we're now starting to see real data here for GoPro. Data that's giving us an indication of whether this is possibly someone, a company that we would like to target for maybe an introduction if there hasn't been one already, or potential introduction of other services if there's already a relationship with a company, offers to sell in different auctions. So let's just go through the data points. You've got credit rating here that's obviously been degraded to a B over time. We've got information here on missing revenue targets. We've got our stock trend, and then warns. Remember, that's the layoff related data. And so some warn information has been presented within the last week, it says here. On the right side here, you've got relevant GoPro news, and then on the left side, the stock information. So the tool is used in such a way that then when this lead is identified, we can then send it to Salesforce and continue the process of that potential sale. This is going to bring warehouse sale potential, not only the actual property itself, but every piece of equipment contained therein, and potentially, if depending on a potential bankrupt situation, could open up all the equipment to a potential auction with Ritchie Brothers. And as we wrap up here, they wanted to outline the technologies used. Primary on the front end is JavaScript, especially. We've got React supporting the UI as well, and Webpack and Babel also on that UI side. JavaScript also on the back end, and Node.js. Erlang supporting all the machine learning technologies, and then Docker for our containerization, and Kubernetes for the orchestration of those containers. I want to thank you for your time, and just again appreciate the opportunity to participate in the hackathon.